When it comes to the legal side, I'm sure there's good, better, and best out there as well when you look at, choosing an attorney. What are some of the things you consider when you're actually choosing an attorney?
I always like to look at experience, because let's put it this way. When you go to law school, they teach you the basics. They teach you civil procedure and substantive law, but they're teaching you so that you're able to take the bar exam and get your license to practice. The real education is from the school of hard knocks. Is
That's
what
right.
I like to call it. Getting out in the trenches and really embedding yourself in the legal community and learning about what's going on and how to conduct yourself. I think that is a huge thing. And also you want to know the competency of that attorney. How long have they been working in this particular area of law? What is their case experience? What kind of cases do they handle? What are they known for handling? Because you'd be surprised that even in certain areas of law, people create and carve out little niches, if you will, of what they really like or enjoy practicing. And I always like to look at what a lawyer is passionate about, because if they enjoy doing it, they're likely to do a much better job other than somebody that's just there to collect a paycheck.
Absolutely. Right on. You got to have the passion. You got to have that want to succeed, the want to help. Now, is it something that you might ask? I've heard it said as well, hey, where did you graduate in your graduating class? Or maybe even something more current, if they've been in practice for 20, 30 years, is what is your average win percentage or something along those lines? Is that relevant?
I have never, I've been practicing now over 31 years, and I can't say, but a couple of people have asked me where I went to law school. People are more interested, at least from my perspective, is what do you know? Do you know what you're talking about? Do you understand the subject matter? And are you somebody that's going to really fight for me?
Right.
And that is important. As far as win rates, you can ask a lawyer like what kind of percentage that they win, but keep in mind with case law or with cases rather, any lawyer that tells you that like they've had 100% success rate, they either haven't been practicing, haven't been to court, or they're not telling you the truth.
Right. Hey, it happens. I see it in real estate all the time. I'm like, hey, whenever you are comparing realtors, I can pull up the other person. So, for example, John Smith, he said he closed this many deals. Let me double check those numbers, because we've run across it many times where they'll inflate those numbers by 7, 8, 9, 10%, let's say.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So, you get a lot of variance out there. I think that you really just need to sit down face to face and actually see if you're a good fit, if you and that lawyer are a good fit.
Right.
If you guys mesh well together and you guys understand each other and have a good means of communication, I think that that's worth volumes. It's kind of like going to a doctor. I mean, you're sharing your most personal, dark spaces with that person, and you're asking them to guide you through that darkness into the light, if you will. And so you need somebody that's going to be that guide and that's going to fight for you. And I think that's what's important.
Yeah, I love that. Saying fight. Of course, now, you say metaphorically fight. I don't mean it really,
Right.
You see what happened last week. Right. But when you look at that, yeah, hey, I talked to veterans too. I said, hey, this gentleman I was talking to the other day, he said, I'm 100% disabled, and we offer discounts for veterans. We help them out a lot. And I said, listen, you fought for our country. Let me fight for you. Let me fight to help you maximize the sale of your real estate properties. And I'm looking for 1% of your trust, and I'll earn the other 99. I will do that for you. So let's talk about a group of people that seem to be overlooked in, when it comes to family law, divorce situations, the grandparents. Talk about grandparents' rights.
Oh boy, it's a tough one. Grandparents traditionally under the law have not had much standing to bring many actions in their own name because, as you know, in most states and of course in Florida, the parents' rights are going to generally trump those of the grandparents. Unfortunately, due to the drug situation in the state, where a lot of grandparents found themselves raising their grandkids because their parents were having such difficulties,
Right.
the legislature came out in about 2015 and they modified the law, and they said that if one parent is essentially unfit to parent, and let's say the other parent is in jail or has committed a felony or an offense of domestic violence or something. So basically, both parents are sort of unfit or unable to parent, then a parent can go ahead and petition the court for visitation rights.
Mm-hmm.
And that's difficult. And there's also a Chapter 751, which has already been in existence. 752, the grandparent visitation statute, is relatively new on the scene. But both of those require a clear and convincing evidence that the parent is not able, essentially, to parent the child or the children. Absent that clear and convincing finding by a court, you're kind of out of luck. So it's difficult. Now, you can also do it by agreement. If a parent agrees that you should be having custody of the children, of the grandchildren, that's one thing. But again, even with an order like that, a grandparent can come in and ask for it to be, a parent can come in and ask for it to be overturned. So it's very difficult for grandparents under the existing statutes to get automatic rights. There's other mechanisms to do it where you can potentially file like a dependency action and allege that the parents are abusing, neglecting, or abandoning their children. And so if that's the situation, then you might be able to get custody that way. And if the parents don't better themselves through a case plan, you may be able to ask to terminate the parents' rights and seek parental rights yourself by adopting them. So there are mechanisms, but I don't want anyone to think that the road is either easy or it's paved, but it's bumpy. Let's put it that way.
There you go. That's a good metaphor. Yeah, I like that. So, and by the way, if you just joined us, we're talking with attorney Millie Athanason here in Tampa Bay, Athanason Law offices of Millicent Athanason, AthanasonLaw.com. You can find her online, AthanasonLaw.com. And yeah, because it really does talk to, and it speaks to the challenges that we see in this country. I think it was some years ago we actually passed a 50% divorce rate in the country, and there's so many different places you can point. The drug problem, the social media, the just the challenges with life and the speed of pace of life. But I like what Denzel Washington came out and said about a week or two ago. He mentioned that it's because, of course, the media tries to bait us into these race situations, but really it comes down to the family values. And if you have a strong father figure in the home, you have a mother, and whoever works, if they both work, one works, two works, it's not that. It's about having that comprehensive family and a supporting family where the kids will feel strong and the kids will be in a position where they're going to be a better parented properly at that time.
I agree with you on that, Brandon. And I also think, too, that in today's society, people view relationships in a more of a disposable manner.
Exactly.
Like we have disposable diapers and relationships. If they get soiled, we can throw those out, too.
Yep.
And so you don't have the same, it used to be in the older days, like if you talk to your grandparents or whatever, that you toughed it out. If you went through a rough patch, you dealt with it. You just didn't walk away. And the law at that time didn't make it that easy to walk away. As of 1980 in this state, we have no fault divorce. Mm-hmm. So you don't even have to really prove grounds per se, other than to say that the marriage is irretrievably broken or that the other spouse is mentally incompetent. Yep. So, you can. It's really easy to get a divorce now. So people, I think a lot of people enter into marriages with the notion that, if this doesn't work out, it's okay. I can get divorced.
Absolutely. You see it all the time.
Unfortunately, yes. And that is just not a good mindset going in. It's almost like I think they need more counseling before they go into the marriage.
Exactly.
And then maybe it won't be as, difficult if they have to exit for any particular purpose. But,
it's a lot of factors. The online dating, what was that site, Madison something a few years ago where all these people got caught because there was a purging or where they hacked into that site, Ashley Madison or something, all these these married men, looking for, the extracurricular activity. So the marriage is one of the things that has been under attack. Of course, Hollywood, the media, they really push some of these sensuous type situations online, and it just is such a tough place. So we got to take a quick break here, but when we come back we're going to dive deeper as well into other areas of law that Millie can help you with. Millie Athanason here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.